everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday video. It's not quite Fat Logic today. Today we are covering someone from Fat Talk, Fat Liberation TikTok, who has done fucking pissed me off. I'm so fucking angry right now. I don't even know what the editing is gonna look like in this video because I'm so fucking pissed. I'm gonna start with her video and let you guys watch the entire thing, and I'm not going to pause it at all, and then we're going to watch it again, and I'm going to, I have notes. I don't typically take notes on this shit, but I'm so fucking angry. So, and I have so many fucking points to make. We're just going to dive into it. Here's the video, and I will see you after this. I don't know if we're going to get to any other videos today because I have so much to fucking say.
What percentage of the population wears a size 2 versus a size 30? Let's see if we can figure that out. So if we look at CDC data, it says that a 38.7-inch waist is about the average size of a woman. That's about a dress size of an 18-20. According to some surveys, about 40% of the population is obese, or at least obese, and 71.6% are at least overweight. And then according to the CDC, that marker is about a 35-inch waist for increased risk or kind of being overweight. The starting point for all of this is the BMI, which is bullshit, but we're doing this for the sake of argument. So if we plop that on a bell curve, our 18-20 goes in the middle, and to determine whether or not we can do a kind of normal distribution, that's going to tell us so that this might be our 60% range, so probably. So if we count that down, a size 2 actually matches up with a size 36, and a size 30 matches up with a size 8. Now, if we take the more generous option and say that a size 18 is the average, it's still a little bit closer, right? A size 2 is about as likely as a size 34, and a size 30 is going to be about as likely as a size 6. Now, the less generous sizing for adults is probably where the brand Universal Standard built their sizing range from, right? It makes 20 the center, which makes a 38 match up with a 2, and then starting at a 0 gets you up to a size 40, which is why a truly size-inclusive brand would go from a 0 to a 40. But just to assist you, that means that it's about as likely that someone wears a size 30 as it is that someone wears a size 10, and significantly less likely that someone wears a size 2 than someone wearing a size 30. So of course you must actually just be talking about the average size for teens if you think that I'm delusional. You see, because here the average dress size for a teen is about a size 12, which means it's about as likely that a teenager or an adolescent wears a size 2 as it is that they wear a size 22. So obviously the confusion was that you were talking about teens and I'm talking about adults, right?
Alright, so we're gonna watch that again, but I also want to take a look at this fucking bullshit pinned comment here that she's doing to try to cover her ass. She says, this is not real math. Well, no shit, because I'm about to break down why it's not real math. And I understand that she's fucking acknowledged that it's not real math, but it still needs to be broken down why this math is so fucking wrong, because she's presenting it as fact. And this whole little thing of please don't take me drawing on paper as fact. It's also has a bit of a condescending edge to it, which is already just kind of fucking pissing me off. But anyway, what she's trying to do to cover her ass is saying this is not real math. This is commentary on people who think pant size and BMI are indicators of health, when that is like nothing of what you are actually saying in this. You're talking about likelihoods of size. You are not making any fucking comment about BMI being an indicator of fucking health. You are not making that point at fucking all. You are going based on the average sizes and making some bullshit bell curve that you don't even know what the fuck you're doing. I'm so fucking pissed. But this is a fucking bullshit just to cover her ass so she's not sued. Meanwhile, kids and people that have not had the ability or the opportunity to learn how statistics actually fucking work are going to believe this bullshit because she hides her disclaimer in the comments. Oh man, okay. Disclaimer for myself that I'm going to actually put in my video before I say anything fucking else. I am not a statistician. I have only had an intro to statistics that was about 10 years ago that I really loved, and I remember I'm fairly confident in the knowledge that I'm about to present. However, if I do get something wrong, I am implore anyone who is more advanced at math than I am to comment in the comments down below of how my information is off, and I will figure out how to pin your comment. I'm so angry right now, and there's so much to talk about. There's so much fucking to talk about, so we're gonna cover this. I'm gonna go through her fucking video. We're gonna take a look at the comments, because she has even more fun, stupid things to say in her comments. But the reason why I'm going to go after her so fucking hard is because she presents this as fact. She presents this as fact, and then gives some bullshit disclaimer in the comments saying that it's commentary and that the point of it is far beyond anything that she actually brings up in the fucking video, which tells me that this is presented with malicious intent. This is presented in an effort to mislead people, to validate her own fucking viewpoints.
What percentage of the population wears a size 2 versus a size 30? Let's see if we can figure that out. So if we look at CDC data, it says that a 38.7-inch waist is about the average size of a woman. That's about a dress size of an 18-20. According to some surveys, about 40% of the population is obese, or at least obese, and 71.6% are at least overweight. And then according to the CDC, that marker is about a 35-inch waist for increased risk or kind of being overweight. The starting point for all of this.
So one, she's already conflating the data by comparing BMI starts you at considering overweight well before a size 35 waist. For some people it may even be, you may need to be even heavier than the BMI would place you in the overweight or obese category before you reach that 35-inch waist. But you're already conflating the data. You're saying it's roughly a size 18-20, which, fine. But you're using the marker of health as a 35 instead of using the BMI and the average waist size of someone with a BMI of XYZ. So you're already fucking with the data a little bit. You're also saying 40% and then 71%. You kind of got to choose one and make a couple of different data points. Actually, quite frankly, the real way to do this would be to get a sample size of people, taking their weight to get their BMI, their waist size, and their pant size. Which actually, you say pant size here, but I think you refer to dress size, which is slightly different. But at that point, there's so many worse things to go over here. Oh my god, I'm having a hard... there's so much to fucking say, I'm having a hard time focusing on one thing at a fucking time. So my point being that you are crossing two different types of data, which is pant size and BMI, to determine there's a difference between the larger levels of health risk at a 35-inch waist plus, and the BMI, which would likely put someone at risk a little bit lower than that. You can't do that when you're measuring, unless you have. I mean, there's a bunch of different controls to put in place to help this, but you're just using very vague data, and you only have one data point. That 40% that is obese is likely going to skew data higher, and then that 71% of overweight, a lot of those people are likely in a lower dress size, which I don't think that you are taking into account. Not to mention that you ignore the general percentage of people that are underweight and the general percentage of people that are average weight. You need all of those if you're going to create a fucking bell curve like this. And bell curves require actual fucking math. You don't just... I'll show you.
This is the BMI, which is bullshit, but we're doing this for the sake of argument. So if we plop that on a bell...
You don't just plop it on a bell curve. That's not how that fucking works. You don't just say our average is a size 18-20 and then put dress sizes out from there, because you don't have any sample size to work with that would give you an idea of the true median for dress sizes. Now, this is different if you were going based on waist size, which is what you actually have numbers for. Then maybe you could, that would be a more accurate representation, given that you use the 35 inch marker as a sign of increased health risks, and then the average woman's waist size as a 38.5 inches. That you could actually use for what you're trying to do here, but you don't just twist that into general dress sizes because you're skewing the data. The size 18-20 has a range. It's not like everyone that is very specifically a 38.5 is a 38.5 inch waist is an 18-20. An 18-20 is a range. I'm not entirely sure what the range would be for this, but it's a range of a couple of inches. So that is skewing the data already. Oh my god. Because if you were trying to do this, then you could probably get a standard deviation of the average of waist sizes and get a 60 to 68% range there, but that's not what she's doing here. And she admits that it's made up math, but I still feel the need to point out how fucking stupid this is.
Curve, or 1820, goes in the middle, and to determine whether or not we can do a kind of normal distribution, that's going to tell us so that this might be our 60% range, so probably. So
no, that's a little high for 60%. 60% would probably be closer to here. But let's take a look at what, because she's not taking into account standard deviation. There's math in this for a reason. But I'm going to show you guys, this is what the IQ bell curve looks like. So, you have the average score of 100, a standard deviation, which covers 34% either way, from the average, which would be where the 68% of the population live. This is where the core average of people, this is the general level of intelligence that you can expect. And then 98% from there, you have, this is why people from Mensa are considered genius level once they reach the second 2 standard deviations away from the norm. And that's what these are. These are called standard deviations. And standard deviations vary based on the set of data that you're working with. For the IQ, a standard deviation is 15 points. So this is average. 85 to 115 is considered average level intelligence. 115 to 30 is considered higher level intelligence, while 70 to 85 is considered lower than average intelligence, with extremes existing between 130 and 145 or higher, and 55 to 70 or lower. This is what this looks like because they have actual math and numbers to work with. Now, don't get me wrong, IQ has its own issues, but this is an example that I felt most people would be able to see what I mean when I'm talking about standard deviations.
So, if we count that down, a size 2, Actually,
I need to say one more thing. She's estimating standard deviations visually instead of, because what would happen is that the sizes don't work. The sizes don't work. You would need to take it based off waist measurements of the average female, and you would need a sample size. From there, finding the general average, and then the most common for the 60 to 70% of your sample size, and what the average deviation away from the norm is. And that would mean that of your sample size, 60 to 70% fall within that range. It varies a little bit. It could be 60, it could be 68 like we saw on the IQ one. I think most of the time though it's about 68%. And this is not how you match up frequency of sizes. Well, I know I've said already that this mismatching data, but even so, this is not how you match up frequency of sizes. You do it based off the number of times they appear. Just because, so the average woman is heavier than a safe, healthy BMI weight. That skews the data higher. So the information that you're taking, is it a median or is it a mean? I'm sorry. There's so much that I want to say about this. So for anyone that doesn't know, a mean is when you add all of the is the average. It's when you add all of for the sake of argument, we'll say waist sizes because that's what it should fucking be. And you take all the waist sizes, you add them all together, and then you divide them up by the number of people in your sample size. That would be the mean. The mean is not really a good representation of where the average truly falls. And so instead what you would do is that you would look for the median, which is where you take your entire sample size. And you would do it on a piece of paper, but I think this is easier to visualize. Imagine that you have a sample size of 100 women with different waist sizes. You line them up from the highest waist size to the lowest waist size, and then you figure out where the center is in that and where that center falls, whether that's like the one person or in between two people. That is the true average, because that is based off prevalency, not based off averages that can easily be skewed. Median is a lot harder to skew than a mean.
Matches up with a size 36, and a size 30 matches up with a size 8. Now, if we take the more generous option and say that a size 18 is the average, it's still a little bit closer, right? A size 2 is about as likely as a size 34, and a size 30 is going to be about as likely as a size 6. Now, the less generous sizing for adults is probably where the brand Universal Standard built their sizing range from, right? It makes 20 the center, which makes a 38 match up with a 2, and then starting at a 0 gets you up to a size 40, which is why a truly size-inclusive brand would go from a 0 to a 40. But just to assist you, that means that it's about as likely that someone wears a size 30 as it is that someone wears a size 10. And
this is not how likelihoods are determined. This is not how likelihoods are determined. There's actual math. We don't know. I've already pointed out how much is wrong with the math in this. It's just, oh my god, it's just so misleading. You guys have seen this already. We're gonna leave it there. I think I've made my point with her stupid fucking video, and I think this is weaponized misinformation. I was prepared when I first saw this to assume that she just didn't know what the fuck she was talking about, and was willing to assume ignorance, but the fact that she says this is not real math, this is commentary on people who think pattern size and BMIs are indicators of health, and yet you do not reference, you were talking for the vast majority of this video on the likelihoods of sizes to appear in the general populace, and that is not how we determine that. You are presenting this in a way that someone that knows nothing of statistics and knows nothing of how this shit works would fucking believe you. You are weaponizing the lack of knowledge of others to suit your fucking narrative, and it pisses me off. Thankfully, some people did call her out on her math. She goes, I agree with your end conclusion, but the math has issues. My BMI is 30.6, which is obese, but I wear a size 6. I'm not athletic. Yeah, I'm a size 6 as well, and this is still considered overweight. And skeptical, this is actually a normal distribution. I see size 2 to 6 people all day, every day. I don't see that many size 30 people. It's more likely they're 8 to 10 and not 2. 2 is super small, like model thin. I work with the public, and I can see the same here in New Jersey. Considering the amount of shame society puts on fat people, there's a disproportionate number of fats who avoid leaving the house compared to thin people. So they're trying to justify this bullshit. Some people are trying to justify this bullshit math as well. Wow, all of a sudden I hate this. I hate this so fucking much. And look it. She's laughing and has these fucking heart emojis, and yet she acknowledges that it's not real math. You'd think that she would continue, if this was a true good faith argument, she would be like, just a reminder, in case you didn't see my comment, this isn't real math. Interesting. I've always been curious about how that kind of stuff works out. Love it. See, people, because she didn't include it in the video, and I don't know, it says that it was the same number of days, but it could have been hours after people initially saw it. Oh my god, there was someone, drop that mic, thank you. See, people believe this shit. I love it when people get dragged with data. Oh my god, and she didn't correct them, and this was the same day that the fucking video was posted. This is not real data. This is not how data is used. Starting with the average for the waist is skewed, though. There's an asymmetrical distribution that pulls waist averages farther to the right than, and then it just trailed off. If I was trying to do real math, I'd obviously want all three, mean, median, and mode, to figure out what the plus negative would be. And this tells me also, though, that she also doesn't know statistics or what she's talking about, because she thinks that having the mean, median, and mode would be enough to tell you everything, and it's not. It's enough to give you a general idea. But sure, but this is clearly skewed, so average will be the most manipulated of the three. Please make a caveat next time you make a vid. That's a pinned comment explaining it's literally fake math. I always watch your videos because you provide perspectives, informed perspectives, but this video doesn't come from a place of being informed, and it misleads us. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't think I'll like any of her takes, but at least someone is willing, who is a regular supporter of her, is willing to call her out when she's being a misleading troll. Sure, you said fake math is pinned, but I feel that it's misleading, which I don't think is your high level of quality content. No hate. A median calculation would. This is skewed calculation, and outlier sizes like 30 and above will pull to the right. Median stats are much better. But see, people take this, and this is why it makes me so angry. Because she is presenting this as fact, and then she gives this bullshit explanation at the top about how this is not real math, and how it's BMI is not an indicator of health, which she is not really referencing much in her video at all. And it's more, she's trying to talk about likelihoods, prevalence of size in the general population, and that's not how you do this. That's not how you fucking do this. And I just, oh my god, and she's conflated. I'm just repeating myself at this point, but I'm going to summarize real quick my feelings on this. This is fucking malicious stupidity as far as I'm concerned. There's so much wrong here. She conflates data sets by converting waist size to dress size or pant sizes. That is not how you do that. She is guesstimating what the standard deviation would be without a sample size. She's using general percentages as her measurable information and does not have enough data points to make any sort of valid analysis. And she knows she's doing this. And I believe this video is a bad faith argument that is meant to mislead people and meant to curry people into her favor with fraudulent data. This went on even longer than I thought it would, so I'm just going to leave it here. We only covered this one video, but I had so much to say about it, and it got me so fucking heated. So I'm going to leave it here. Thank you for watching. Do not go and harass Migs for fun, please. Don't go and harass her. I may have a serious problem, and we will probably revisit her. I think what we're going to do is, this is going to be my Monday video. And the Wednesday video, we're going to take a broader look at her channel, because she's pissed me off. But do not go and harass her, please. I do not. There's a couple of reasons. One, I don't think anyone should receive death threats or harassment, no matter what stupid shit they spout online. Two, I don't want to deal with the headache of me being connected to her harassment, so please don't harass her, especially not in my name. Three, I'm not interested in getting into a pissing match with this woman. I want to take a look at some of her other videos, so we will do that in the Wednesday video. But I'm not looking to go into a back and forth with her. She's already shown that she's capable of bad faith arguments, and that she's perfectly okay and happy and will defend her bad faith arguments. So I'm not interested in someone who clearly does not have the constitution of character to put together decent arguments. If I got anything majorly wrong with my own interpretation, this was a genuine good faith argument based off the knowledge that I have of statistics that is minimal. So if you know more about statistics and I got anything wrong, please correct me in the comments. If you have anything more to add to this, please do. And I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.